Cool. So I'm with, pronounce your last name.
Matt Cochran.
Matt. Oh, that was easy.
Yeah. There you go.
Cool, man. So tell me about your company, because obviously I got referenced by your buddies over here. So
Yep.
I was told I need to come over and talk to you because from an identity proofing side, they say you're onto something. So what is it?
Yeah. So Veracent is an awesome partner. We've been working with them just recently. We just had a press announcement with them about a joint solution that we're coming out with. So on our side, what we focus on is identity verification. Really, the problem we solve is how do you trust that the person on the other side of the device truly is who they're claiming to be. This could be for employees when they're first getting onboarded. This could be for an account recovery type process. If somebody needs to change a password, or it could be for something like MFA registration on the workforce side. We also do this on the customer side, as far as being able to establish when somebody's signing up for a credit card or opening up an account. These are all like pretty common use cases for us. So the way that it works is we hook into probably about 50 different individual data sources from our cloud. And
so
then
like government passport registry, like state driver's license,
credit bureaus,
like
telco data, government issued ID verification services, as well as like threat intelligence networks as well.
Yeah.
And then from there, we have an admin console, and you can see a little bit of it here. Since there's a video, we'll just talk through it. But essentially, it allows you to build what we call verification workflows.
Okay.
So verifying somebody's going to be different. For the financial industry, you might need to do KYC AML.
Yeah.
For the government, you may need to do IAL2, for example. So everybody has like slightly different ways that they need to verify. With our workflow capability, you can build that visually. And you could start with some kind of passive risk analysis, step up to one of our solutions, for example, called MobileMatch, and then kind of proceed from there. So
what's MobileMatch?
MobileMatch is where you are confirming that the person is in possession of a device, like a mobile device, that is registered to who they are claiming to be.
Oh, how are you doing that?
So that's where we are collecting some basic data, name, phone number, address, for example. The person can assert this. This can also be federated from your identity provider system. We work with like Ping, Azure, Okta, Auth0, stuff like that. Once you have the data, first we check against our network. Is this name registered to this phone? Is this address registered to this phone? If everything looks good and if there's no risk detected, we then can do a phone possession check. That's where we can either send the person a link or a one-time passcode to confirm that they're actually in possession of that device that was just proven to be registered to who they're claiming to be. So just by doing that, like if I were to try to, impersonate you on a website, it would mean that I would need a device that's registered to you to open up an account like
So how are you mitigating SIM swapping?
Yeah, so because we're hooking in with the telco providers,
the back end, okay.
We can check for ports, we could check for non-fixed voice over IP phones, we could check for SIM swaps, things like this.
Okay.
So all of that is, because we're doing all of this, you can have a higher level of confidence that you're not just doing the data match, you're also proving that from a risk perspective that there's a low level of risk as well. So
all right, cool.
Yeah.
So how are you, what's your main takeaways, like why you're better than competitors? Because there's a lot of big guys out there who've been doing the proofing stuff for a while, right?
Yeah.
So you're entering in a new space, but there's a lot of big dudes. What are you going to do to kind of get yourself out there and be like, hey, look, those dudes suck, we're awesome?
We're sort of the Switzerland, right? So at the end of the day, what we do is we hook in with, we're constantly evaluating the different technologies that are out there. We partner with them, and then those are available centrally through our system. So whether we're talking about PII validation, we're talking about GovID verification, we likely do have a relationship with these vendors. And from a customer perspective, instead of them having to come out and do all of this evaluation, make all of these different business relationships, build all of the software to the individual APIs, then figure out how to crunch all that data together to make good real-time decisions, you could instead just check out ID Dataweb. And we basically do that as a service for you through our
just an API call?
Yeah, so we have two ways. One is we have a REST API. We also have a fully OpenID Connect compliant redirect approach.
Okay.
So if you want to go more codeless or low code, you can use that. And the great part about that is that can hook in with your existing identity tools fairly easily.
So you're plug and play for any orchestration service that's out there.
Any orchestration services out there, yeah. So as long as it supports SAML 2.0 or OpenID Connect, you can redirect your user to us. We can verify them against the workflow that you've established from a branding perspective, a security perspective for your organization. And then we redirect back with the ID token. You can use that. We have this whole policy layer where you can customize what specifically is an approved user versus a denied user as well. So so from a partnership perspective, we work with a lot of the, as I was saying, a lot of the big.
Have you worked at any blockchain type development companies, like where you're doing identity proofing for anonymous accounts in that world? In what sense?
So we act sort of as a verifier in that sense, where the output of our technology can be used for DIDs or for storing the whole like decentralized identity piece, right?
Okay.
If your goal is to have a digital wallet with your identity in it, you still need to verify at some point that the person is who they're claiming to be. So the output of our system can be used to store attributes in a wallet or
so then you can prove an anonymous Ethereum wallet is actually owned by a very specific person,
correct.
Like an identity, an actual person.
We also worked with a number of exchanges in the past, like crypto exchanges as well. As you know, like KYC, AML compliance is big for them.
Oh yeah.
So we've done a good amount of that. Basically, anywhere where there's either a verification or a trust need, we can be plugged in at the.
So what happens when someone comes back and says, "Hey, you guys verified it. It turned out to be wrong."
Right.
What happens in that sense?
Well, we have a feedback loop where we can accept like reports of fraud or of inaccuracies, and basically this goes into our reporting, into our models as far as.
But does your company assume the liability on that decision of saying, yes, this is that person, and if it turns out to be wrong, whose fault is it?
No. So I hear what you're saying. Our policy engine allows the customer to define all of that specifically.
Okay, so therefore it's the customer's fault. Right?
Well, it's on the customer to define what they constitute to be an approved user versus it's all about the risk tolerance, right?
So you're just delivering the data and you're saying you can do whatever you want with this.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
It's going to be much different for industry by industry. So we provide the tool set, we provide sort of the guidance, and at the end of the day, it's a self-service tool. We try to enable our customers to build what they need to solve their business problems. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Anything else that's super exciting about your company you want to tell us?
We have great socks. We have some lovely PDFs here as well. So
PDFs. Oh my God.
Come by.
so
come by and get your socks if your feet are cold. We'd be glad to provide you with that. So
yeah. I will take a pair of socks and I'll sport them next time I talk about your company, man.
Thanks, Adam. Nice to meet
awesome.
you.
Thanks, man.
Thanks so
Appreciate
much.
it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Later, guys.